Husbands, M37, BFF, M36, in jail. How do I process these emotions?
Too long did not read. Husband's BFF in jail for sawing his 14-year-old stepdaughter.
Processing feelings and have no one to talk to right now.
My husband's childhood best friend, call him Tate,
ended up in jail over the weekend for property damage and terroristic threats at the house of his step-daughter's, Rosie, 14-year-old, friend's house. Rosie ran away in the middle of the night and was reported to the police missing. Tate and his wife, Rosie's mom, were tipped off that Rosie was at a friend's house.
Tate showed up with a hammer and an ice pick and used those weapons to violently knock at the door, demanding Rosie come out. She did, and they left. On the ride home, she said the friend who she was with sawed her and Tate went back. This is when he said the terroristic threats and did further property damage. Rosie was there during the arrest and said to the cops that it was Tate that sawed her and has been for 5-6 months. He was taken to jail where he currently is awaiting trial at the end of the month. From our understanding, he confessed to inappropriate behavior. My husband heard this from Tate's wife the day following the arrest. Understandably, she is beside herself. Tate and his wife also share a 7-year-old daughter. My husband and Tate have not spoken since he was arrested. My husband and Tate have been best friends for almost 20 years. He was best man at our wedding and has always been a part of our lives. We see them and the kids often, even bringing our kiddo, my stepson, to their house and vice versa. The news is numbing and shocking at the same time. I don't know how to process any of it. My husband said it feels like Tate has died. They had plans to open a business together in the next 3 months and that is over. He will most likely be a convicted felon. He's irrevocably damaged his family. His life is over. I am at a loss of how to process this, how to support my husband and how to support Tate's wife and children. What do I say when asked about Tate? I feel almost ashamed for not seeing it and calling him my friend. Any advice? Thanks so much for reading. Something similar erupted in a friend's life. His bandmate was caught photographing his stepdaughter naked. The band was all dads and they were so upset they'd allowed this guy around their kids. It's not your fault. They're good at hiding. The whole band broke up and they were so mad at him. Big heartbreak for everyone that asshole conned. I'm so sorry. Monsters like this hide among us and we don't always know until it's too late. Your husband should not blame himself for not knowing. They are very good at hiding what they do. Be a sounding board for him. He needs to grieve the end of his friendship. Husband is grieving the loss of part of his own childhood. This has tainted it. Just be there for him. It will take him a long time. People are complex. Monsters are even more so, because they only let that side show to very few people. In his case, only his stepdaughter knew. They groom everyone around them to think they are a good guy and groom their victims in thinking no one will believe them. This situation is a lot to process. Follow your husband's lead and let Tate be dead to you. Tate is dead. To you. The person you thought you knew never existed. I have thought about what my friends could do that would cause me to cut them off, or worse. It was a very, very small list. Harming a child, especially in that way, was at the top. He would 100% be dead to me too. Predators can't show who they are. They have to trick you. That's how they operate. It's not something that you missed, it's something they've hidden. Therapy. All of you. It's not your fault. Tate never really existed. Boyfriend M34 won a windfall and made a big decision without talking it with me. F31. What do I do? Hey everyone. I'm feeling really confused and a bit upset. My boyfriend recently won a decent amount of money from playing online. Instead of discussing it with me, he sold his old car and bought a newer model without even mentioning his win or his plans. I understand it's his money and he can do what he wants. But I feel like in a relationship, big decisions like this should be talked about, right? It's not just about the car. It's the fact that he didn't even think to include me in the conversation. We've been together for a while, and we usually discuss important things together. I'm not sure how to bring this up without sounding like I'm mad about the car itself. I just want him to understand that it's more about the communication and consideration. Has anyone else dealt with something similar? How did you handle it? Any advice on how I can approach this conversation without it turning into a big argument would be really appreciated. Thanks.
Define a while?
Do you live together?
If you're in a long-term serious relationship, then I can understand your concern and the desire to talk it through. If you've been dating 3 months, then not so much.
Context is important. It's his money woman shrugging.
How long have you been dating?
Do you live together? Are your finances intertwined? It sounds like this is none of your business.
If you're not living together, at least, there shouldn't be any conversation to approach.
A while sounds like this is a newer relationship.
If you aren't committed, living together, and sharing finances, he doesn't have to ask you anything.
How long is a while? Are you two planning a life together? If not, why would he discuss it with you? Curious.
What would you have suggested he do with this windfall?
My partner was gifted a large sum of money from his grandma a couple of years ago.
He spent it on stupid things. However, I said nothing as it wasn't my money to even be having much of a day in what he did with it.
Honestly, it just sounds like you're a little jelly about it, which is understandable, but might be odd to have a convo about.
Unless you both usually have a chat before making large purchases?
IDK, I just feel like it's not any of your business. Just enjoyed being a passenger princess in a shiny new car. I, 31 female, was told I needed to better myself for our marriage by my 39 male husband. Advice? My partner, 39 male, and I, 31 female, have been together for over 8 years, 4 married.
We have 1 child.
A lot has happened in 8 years, and I felt I've done so much to help our marriage overcome obstacles. His addiction, mental health, toxic family, miscarriage, infertility, IVF. Lately I've just been so overwhelmed and unhappy because I can't rely on my partner for any help with daily tasks. I ask, and I'm called names, I remind, and I'm a nag. Any request for assistance is either an insult thrown or dramatic sigh or eye roll. I'm talking basic dishes, garbage, laundry assistance.
We both work. I make and have always made 10–15K more, so not much, but I cover our insurance, groceries, and keep tabs on everything.
I feel like I'm the responsible adult parenting 2 kids. Recently his behavior has been verbally aggressive, and in the heat of the most recent lashing I was told I do nothing for him. I don't support him. I'm not marriage material. I'm a BTCH. A nag. A bad mom. Wife. I feel broken and I know it's not true, but I'm in limbo.
Since then he's trying to push the narrative I need to better myself so our marriage can work and therapy can work, currently in. But I'm unsure if it can. I don't know if I can be with someone who thinks so little of me. I need advice. What would you do? Don't stay with someone who treats you like shit. Save yourself, not the marriage. Recently his behavior has been verbally aggressive, and in the heat of the most recent lashing I was told I do nothing for him. I don't support him. I'm not marriage material. I'm a BTCH. A nag. A bad mom. Wife. This is abuse. The only correct answer for abuse is to leave. Since then he's trying to push the narrative I need to better myself so our marriage can work. His idea of better yourself is to stop expecting him to help, do the dishes yourself, and while you're at it bring him a sandwich. In his mind, you're not equal partners. I have a book suggestion for you that I think will really help you understand what's going on inside his head. Why does he do that? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men, by Lundy Bancroft. I personally would not want to be married to such an unkind loser. What does he even bring to the table? He is correct. You need to better yourself by leaving him and figuring out what makes you happy. There is a lot more to life than a marriage to an abusive boss. You are allowing his behaviors to affect you negatively, and that's nothing you should want your child to see. I'm sure being with this person does not bring out the best in you either, and even if it's scary and a struggle at times, you still have so much life left to live if you give yourself the chance. Good luck. They never change. It just gets worse. Definitely don't get pregnant by this loser again and start planning your out. My 28F boyfriend's 24M friends tried to set him up with another girl. How to proceed? My boyfriend and me have been together for 8 months. I have met this 2 friends of his that are a couple, 24M and 23F. Let's call them Kevin and Sally, and got along well with them, or so I thought. They invited my boyfriend for dinner and drinks at their home, and I was not invited, since I was out of town. Turns out the dinner party was between the three of them plus another girl. Let's call her Patty. My boyfriend shared this with me and I was fine with it, since I thought it was completely harmless. Well, turns out that Kevin sent a text to my boyfriend saying Patty really liked him and was into him and, in another reality, you could be very happy with Patty and drive her home. My boyfriend answered with, would be cool but I am in a relationship, to which Kevin said, that's why I am saying in another reality. After that another text from Kevin the following day saying, Sally talked about you with Patty and reiterated that she really liked you and finds you funny. At this point I was very angry at all three of them for the situation. My boyfriend then explained that Kevin and Sally don't like me and that he got the vibe that the dinner party was them setting him up with Patty but still remained there and walked Patty to her bus stop. I feel very much hurt for my boyfriend not standing up for me, allowing the setup scenario to happen and entertaining Kevin's comments. I am angry at Kevin and Sally for being nice to me in my face while introducing my boyfriend to somebody else with other intentions. I cannot control my boyfriend's relationship with Kevin and Sally nor how they feel about me. I just don't know how to address this situation without being controlling or naive on the other hand. How should I proceed from here? Update. Thank you all for helping me view things differently and understand better the situation. To the people that say I might be a BH to my BF, I don't think so. We have been in a very good 8-month relationship without major issues. Kevin and Sally are in my apartment very often to dinner or drinks. They were not my best friends but we got along very well, before this. I confronted my boyfriend yesterday. He told me that in the past, Kevin had already made him grow apart from a friend of his and an ex-girlfriend by bad-mouthing them, and he was as influenceable, dumb emo, to fall for that and lost those people to Kevin's comments.
He says leaving the dinner party without really knowing it was a setup would have felt like an overreaction and he decided to stay.
He also told me the would be cool but text was him trying to politely brush Kevin off, since my boyfriend only has 2 close friends, one being Kevin, and he doesn't want to upset him or lose him.
He agrees he should have made it clearer.
I said either he set his boundaries with these people or we are done. I don't want him to completely cut Kevin off, since he doesn't have many friends, and to be honest, having your own friends is very healthy, but he needed to keep them both away from our relationship and make it very clear they overstepped. And he basically sent a text to Kevin saying he loves him as a friend but boundaries have been crossed and he doesn't feel comfortable anymore bringing me to plans with them. That the whole setup thing was cringe and the follow-up texts were implying he would accept the idea of cheating.
He stated he needed time and space away from both of them.
As of now, Kevin replied with a wall of text starting with, "You are my best friend and even though we don't approve of your GF, we support you in everything you decide." I was starting to get angry again so I stopped reading. I told my boyfriend I don't want to read anymore. That I trust he learned from this and that these people should not interfere with his happiness nor approve his relationships, especially if they have caused him to drift away from people in the past.
I now see Kane as a selfish manipulative BCH to be honest, but I also understand my boyfriend has only 2 friends and kicking him out of his life wouldn't be the best idea right now. I also think these bad-mouthing and setups could potentially happen in the future if my boyfriend is not firm enough. Any advice appreciated?
That's a really shit situation to deal with and shit friends of his.
I think there's not really much you can do but talk to your boyfriend about how you feel about everything.
It's really just up to him to figure out what he's going to do.
I personally think crappy friends should be cut out of his life.
Do you know why his friends don't like you?
And does Patty know your BF's in a relationship?
Would be cool but I'm in a relationship. Sounds like he wants to but he can't, as opposed to, he doesn't want to and he's happily in a relationship.
Maybe my autistic self is taking this too literally, but would be cool is a bizarre response to me. Honestly, something similar happened to me.
My ex used to go out with his single friends and guys who cheat on their girlfriends. He told his friend that we were having issues, didn't tell me we were having issues, and his friend gave his number to a girl to try to set him up. My ex shut it down but he kept hanging out with these guys who had no respect for me or our relationship.
He never told the guy that what he did was wrong. I would have preferred if he kept some distance from those guys but no. Would be cool.
I mouth I.
Okay, bye. I think he should not be close friends with them.
Those are some crappy disrespectful friends.
First, your boyfriend needs to choose between you or his friends.
This is not a slight error on their part. They have declared full-out war on you.
I recommend against giving your boyfriend an ultimatum.
That comes across as hostile and controlling.
I would just make the observation that they seem determined to break you two up and see how he reacts.
If he chooses to stay in contact, they will eventually succeed, and you need to prepare yourself both emotionally and economically. As far as the friends go, if you have their cell numbers, create dating profiles for both on as many sites as you can.
After all, it is only polite to return their favor to your BF.